Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuoki, Kyoto Wins. We are on Kazue Souma's route. In the last episode, Souma drank the water of life and became a fury, and killed everyone except for Miki, and for some reason we decided to stop him from killing Miki, even though it probably would have made our life a lot easier if we had actually let him do it. But no, we need a really hot arch-nemesis for him, so we gotta keep him in the game. And my money's on him drinking the water of life himself soon in the scene, so let's see if I'm right. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. He placed his sword down and looked back at Miki.
Go. What? What's the meaning of this? Just do it. Kill me or you'll regret it. I'm serious. So this is the only second chance I'm giving you. Next time I see you, I won't be so merciful. You're a monster, and still a pussy. You sicken me. Fine, I'll leave. But I owe you nothing, you hear me? Nothing. I promise you, I will kill every single man in the Shinsengumi.
Miki meekly ran down the path out of the forest. As soon as he was no longer in sight, then Souma collapsed to the floor as he'd used every bit of strength he had in his body. Souma, are you alright? Are you hurt anywhere? I'm fine. I'm just a little tired. Oh, well, I was wrong. Miki didn't drink the water of life, but did he take the vial with him, or is it still here? Maybe it was the downside to fighting as a fury. Well, according to the background, it's still light outside, so that would be affecting him, but it said it was dark earlier. He was panting heavily, and I supported him on the ground as I wiped the blood on his body. Souma muttered, as if he were too tired to even speak. You were right after all, Yukimura. About what I said? Yeah, I was really hesitant to kill Miki. No matter what he did to us, it doesn't change the fact that we killed someone in Miki's family. If it were Chief Kono or Commander Hijikata, or even you who was killed, I can't say that I wouldn't have acted the same way. As I considered this, my hand stopped itself. I'm sorry, Miss Yukimura. In the end, I let him escape. No, I'm sure it was better this way. It was. To be honest, I was so scared. I thought that when you'd become a fury that you'd change forever. But seeing the way you acted back there gave me relief. You're still you, Souma. Thank you so much. That's right. No matter how powerful he'd become, Souma's heart was still his own. Souma, who had a grim expression since his transformation, finally seemed to smile again. However... Suddenly, Souma winced harshly, and he turned to face me. This isn't over. Yukimura, please stand aside. What's the matter? Boy, this is quite the Satsuma body count. Chikage Kazuma. The last time they'd met, Kazuma had handily beaten Souma in a battle. Both Souma and I tensed upon the sight of this demon approaching us. You're working with the Satsuma. Have you come to help them? These corpses my allies. What a joke. No, I came for something else today. Me? But it looks as though fate has sought to reward me with my bride-to-be. How grand. How many times do I have to tell you? Wait for your route. Come with me, Chizuru Yukimura. There's no point in you staying with those who choose to walk the path of destruction. I told you before, I'll never go with you. That's right, we're gonna protect her. Protect her, was it? This is protection to you. Yeah. Souma attempted to lunge forward, but his body was too exhausted to move an inch. Instead, his muscles gave away, and he collapsed on top of the stony cold ground. What are you... I tried to help Souma from falling, and I tried to unsheath my kodachi. Too slow. Before I could withdraw my sword, he knocked the wind out of me, and I fell to the ground. Lay still, slave. If you're looking for some punishment, know that I like to play rough. Ooh, that sounds promising. He glared at me on the floor, then Kazuma reached his hand towards Souma. Get your hands off him! Looks like you got a little big-headed from these new fake demon powers, but... what makes you think you can protect her? I'll say it over and over again. My mission is to protect Chizuru Yukimura, even if it means giving my life.
Look, bitch, bark as much as you want, but you are never going to be strong enough to protect her. And without power, you'll accomplish nothing. That goes for both you and the shogunate. Protect her. Don't make me laugh. You're worthless.
Kazuma continued to fling Soma back and forth on the ground, and Soma coughed blood. However, his eyes still burned with determination.
Even then Can't say you don't have spirit, though. Hey, shogunate bitch. I'll ask you one more time. Can you honestly tell me to my face that you can protect this girl until the end, right now? Of course! Guess you can be a guard dog.
Kazuma suddenly cut his sentence short, and he stood up after shoving Soma to the ground. He swung his sword brutally, deflecting another blade from the corner of his eye. That's...
Look who it is.
Yamazaki! Inoue! Oh, Inoue, you're bloody.
Yukimura, is Soma alive?
Yes, he still is.
Grab him and run. We'll take care of him.
No, not you two. Of course it has to be these two, but... No, I'll stay and fight too. If Soma can move, then we can all get through the...
What absolute fools you are. Who would have expected anyone here to have a death wish? They are not going to last much longer. Came here to dig your grave, did you?
Kazuma's cold, monotone voice sent a chill through me, and I gasped as I looked at Yamazaki. Red droplets were bleeding through his clothes. Both he and Inoue had blood dripping beneath their feet, collecting into thick red puddles. So they've already been mortally wounded. You two, your wounds.
It looks like we pushed ourselves a little too hard to get here. It took a lot to make it this far, but Kazuma is correct. We do not have much longer.
What? No, that's not true. Don't listen to him. If I tend to it now, maybe I can... Like, Kazuma's gonna let that happen? Kazuma cut me off, and he moved to strike Yamazaki. As Kazuma deflected Yamazaki's blade and struck him, blood was bruising under his skin, even though the flesh hadn't been cut deeply.
It's nice you came to help and all, but at the end of the day, it's wasted effort. No, it's not a waste. Even if we die here, there are still those to carry on our mission. Yukimura, Soma.
Inoue and Yamazaki shot a glance at me. I had known them long enough to know what their expressions meant. And I don't like it. Because I'd been with them after all these years.
Yukimura.
We'll leave for now. I lent Soma my shoulders, and we had gotten up. We need to survive, no matter what. To tell the others of what happened here. To not let their sacrifice go in vain.
We're going to lose too much blood in a few moments anyway. Chikage Kazuma, until our dying breaths leave our bodies, your fight is with us.
As Soma and I left to flee the scene, Soma turned one last time to see them.
I'm so sorry, Inoue. I'm so sorry, Yamazaki. I'm so sorry, Yukimura. I couldn't protect anyone.
All we could do was simply limp away, watching our two comrades meet certain doom in their last stand against Kazuma. Soma and I shared a quiet journey to Osaka Castle, neither of us speaking at all. I felt like if I opened my mouth, a flurry of uninhibited emotions would come rushing out, unleashing all of my thoughts onto Soma. From time to time, Soma would grip his fist to keep his hand from shaking, but he seemed so frustrated at himself. I struggled to find anything that could comfort him, so all I could do was slowly drag my feet behind as he led me down the mountain path. I wondered what would become of us. All we could do now was pray for the safety of the friends we left behind and continue walking. As we lingered down this dusty, gloomy path, we had finally made it to Osaka Castle around the middle of the afternoon.
Is that Soma? And Yukimura's with him too. Nomura and Saito. You're alive. Crap, both you had us so worried. It brings me great relief to see that both of you are safe. Everyone else will be happy to see it.
Thank you. I'm happy to see you all are safe as well. But I bring bad tidings. We had only been separated for a short while, but it seemed like years since we'd last seen each other. Saito had caught on to the sight of me tearing up, and his expression softened. How is everyone else?
Adequately. As soon as men had arrived, they went to rest in their rooms. We had gotten here rather quickly, so we are on guard duty. So, any word from the front lines? Honestly, nothing but bad news. And not just the Fushimi magistrate either. Many of our bases have retreated as well. Kyoto Castle ended up defecting halfway through the fight, and many of our men were injured or worse. No kidding. If we continue to get battered like this, we won't last much longer. What are you saying? This is so unlike you. Osaka Castle is famous for being impenetrable. We can hold back their attacks. As long as we can stand our ground, the Satsuma Choshu will never break through. Well, about that.
After we pressed Nomura for a response with our eyes, he just looked down awkwardly. Did something happen? We were indignant to hear, but Saito looked at us nervously, offering an answer in Nomura's stead.
Wait, we will resume this conversation later. The commander is waiting in the common room. Best for you to debrief with him.
First things first. As Saito had said, Hijikata was sitting alone in the common room, and as our eyes met, his face brightened, and he rejoiced to see we had returned safely. Since Soma had asked me to keep it a secret, we avoided the subject of him drinking the water of life. That's not something you should keep from Hijikata. We had given Hijikata the gist of what happened. How Miki had defected to the Satsuma Choshu, how blood had been spilt, and how he'd escaped. We'd explained how Chikage Kazuma had made an appearance, and Hijikata's brow furrowed as we told him about Yamazaki and Inoue's sacrifices. As we finished giving Hijikata our report, he seemed to be taking in all the truth as we relayed it to him, and for a moment he sat still. At our conclusion, he offered a curt nod. Then he looked up and disclosed news that shocked us incredibly. We aren't going to stay in the castle?
But why's that? What do you mean, why? It's exactly as I told you. Supposedly, the Shogunate elite have no intention of letting us hold the castle. Above all that, the Supreme Commander has graciously decided to run off to Edo ahead of us. Wait, are you telling me that Lord Yoshinobu abandoned all of his men and ran for it?
Soma's words may have seemed disrespectful or out of line, but Hijikata didn't scold him. He couldn't necessarily agree with Soma's words intrinsically, but I knew that Hijikata was feeling the same sense of anger, although he suppressed it. Who would have thought the person who was charged with leading the shogunate would leave? Soma balled his hands into a tight fist once again, and without holding back began punching the door.
Damn! God damn it! Why? How could he just give up this castle without putting up a fight? We might as well just hand them the shogunate if we've lost. Enough, Soma. It's too soon to say. Okay, but with all that's going on, how else am I supposed to take this? Well, I think we can call it this time. The Satsuma Choshu just had their crap together. We're just gonna have to suck it up. However, what's one loss to us? No matter how many good warriors you have, you can't win every battle.
Yeah, but we just lost a whole bunch of them at once. Soma, who had clearly been lashing out, slowly began to widen his eyes. Hijikata moved closer to Soma, patting him lightly on the shoulder and speaking calmly.
Listen, remember this, Soma. True defeat doesn't happen on the battlefield. True defeat is when you let your broken heart stop you from moving forward. So, I will never give up, no matter how many times my heart is broken from the loss of my comrades. Even if my sword is shattered and death claims me, even if the mud swallows me, I will fight. That is what it truly means to be one of the Shinsengumi. Even if the mud swallows you.
Soma stared at his bruised, bleeding fists as he took heed of Hijikata's words. I was witnessing an intimate moment, the passing of the torch from the present to the future. Soma had been forced to drink the water of life, but he wasn't going to give up. The fire in Soma's eyes also burned in Hijikata's.
Jeez, why do you always look like you're about to cry? Got something soft to say again? No, sir, it's the opposite.
Soma bowed his head deeply, then looked outside the window at the vast sky.
You see, there was a similar situation during the Choshu expedition.
When you were in the shogunate army?
Yes, during the war, our men were utterly defeated. It felt like a wake for the entire shogunate army. It's over for the shogunate, they said. It's pointless to keep fighting, they said. As soon as word of our defeat had spread, the men just fell to their knees and gave up. However, it's nothing like that here. You guys keep fighting. It's everything you work for, and then you win. Of course, though it seems like men around here are forgotten, but the Shinsengumi is made up of a bunch of men who came from nothing, and we busted our asses to move up. We've no intention of fighting fair. What's the point in all that honorable crap if shady bastards keep getting the better of you?
Hijikata never usually joked around like this, and from it I felt myself relax a little.
Soma, Yukimura, I'm going to continue to let you two fight with us. Still think you got what it takes? Yes.
Of course.
Alright. Soon as we're back to Edo, we're going to take it all back.
Alright. I'm up for it. And now we're in the final chapter for Soma. After our meeting, things began progressing quickly. Seeing as how fighting without our political leader could have been a march to the death, the remaining shogunate men retreated to Edo by ship. While aboard our ship en route to Edo, I had woken quite early in the morning, and I went to the dock to view the sun rising over the horizon. We're finally returning to Edo. I watched the cold, wintry sky above me. It had been 4 years since I had last seen the pleasant sky of Edo. I had visited Kyoto with the hopes of finding my father, and then returning immediately. 4 whole years flew by. Now here I am, returning to Edo alongside the Shinsengumi and joining them in their fight for their future. I couldn't have imagined this 4 years ago.
I could say the same about myself.
A voice came from behind me, its tone in gentle harmony with the waves crashing all around us. I was surprised to see who it came from. I'm not.
4 years ago, I worked tirelessly in the Kasama domain, hating myself every single day for it. And now here I am, standing beside you as a member of the Shinsengumi. There's no doubt in my mind that the Shinsengumi have changed my life.
Soma stood beside me, the wind jostling his hair. He got me through the most painful moment of my life.
Good morning, Miss Yukimura.
The sun's rising pretty quickly, isn't it? How has your body felt? Soma had become a fury, which meant a human's day was the fury's night, and the fury's day was the human's night. And how was he hiding this from the rest of the Shinsengumi? If anything Heisuke said about it held any weight, then sunlight should have been painful for Soma to stay in.
If you're talking about not being able to stand in the sun, I'm fine. The only thing I'm thinking about right now is what's waiting for us back in Edo.
Does it scare you? I asked Soma, who let out a big sigh. He shared with me a tender smile, and he shook his head slightly as he spoke.
Actually, I'm not. I'm happy. Happy to hear that there are people around me who can hold on to their hope. There are whispers in the city that the age of the samurai has ended. Warriors who'd spent their entire lives honing their craft of swordsmanship were no match against farmers who could just pick up a gun.
Which is so sad to me.
Thinking of this makes me truly think the world has no place for warriors like us anymore.
Who could know? Was it really so?
But after speaking with Commander Hijikata the other day, as long as men like the Shinsengumi still exist, I don't think warriors will ever truly disappear. For now, I can say this for certain.
Right, I agree. After we'd shared our thoughts, we gazed into one another's eyes, basking in the beauty of the wondrous view of the sky meeting the sea. As the sky reflected into the vast ocean, the horizon blurred itself amongst the marine layer. The waves moved the colors into each other. As I'd stared into the infinity of the world sitting, I was only sure of one thing, the warmth of Soma's soft shoulder resting against mine.
But I don't think I'd be okay leaving things the way they are now.
What do you mean by that?
I may have the power to defeat someone like Miki, but against Kazuma I stood no chance. His words hurt. I can scream, I'll protect you all I want, But if I can't follow through with it, it's pointless. The way things are going now, what could I say to someone like Yamazaki or Inoue, who actually gave their lives to protect us? So I want to become stronger.
Souma had taken the water of life, that cursed serum, and had already become so strong. Yet here he was, still in search of power, in order to uphold the values he cherishes. And, I'm sure, for the sake of my protection. His sentiments somehow filled me with so much warmth, and yet so much guilt all at once. I placed my hand over my chest, gripping it tightly as I stayed quiet. Then I changed the subject. Souma, shouldn't you get some rest? Isn't being out here hard for you? I don't think you've slept much lately. One day I will need to tell Hijikata the truth and have him allow you to rest during the day. Souma didn't respond immediately. He closed his eyes instead, locking himself into deep concentration, and he responded slowly.
Miss Yukimura, you haven't told anyone that I drank the water of life yet, have you?
Huh? No, I haven't. You asked me not to, Souma.
So please, let's just continue to keep this a secret for now.
Why? Even if everyone hadn't known yet, it wasn't something that could be hidden forever.
I also think it's better for me to affiliate myself with the Fury Corps and sleep all day. However, when push comes to shove, I won't really be able to help the group when I need to. And besides...
He paused for a moment, slowly bringing himself to a seated position upon the deck. I sat down with him, and Souma turned to face away from me.
I guess it's true. I'm feeling a little tired now that it's daytime, but... thinking that I won't be able to watch the sunrise with you in the future makes me really upset.
Upset?
Seriously, though. Wouldn't you be sad?
Souma's voice drew me in, its warm tenor engulfing me with each word he spoke.
I wake when you sleep, and I sleep as you wake. The only times we'll be able to see one another are during the brief hours at the start and end of each day.
Souma brought his head closer to mine, almost placing his lips right outside of my ear.
Sounds kind of lonely, don't you think?
His heavy weight slowly fell onto my shoulders. The warmth of his skin made my heart skip. Oh, he looks so sweet. Souma? Souma? He must be exhausted. He's fast asleep. His light breaths tickled my cheeks in rhythm. At first I panicked, hoping he was okay, but what I saw was his adorable face comfortably resting. Why is it that the new guys seem to be able to deal with the effects of the serum during the day much better than all the old guys? Well, except for Saito. I had imagined that maybe his lips would actually come to touch my cheeks. All willingness to go inside had vanished. Guess I can't really blame you. You fought so hard to protect me during all that happened. Even as we were fleeing from the magistrate, even as I sleep, I know you're watching over me. Words cannot express my gratitude for you, seriously. I reached my hand out to him, and I grazed his with mine lightly, so as not to disturb him. Although he had become a fury, somehow his hand retained its warmth. This was proof that this really was Souma sitting beside me.
Miss Yukimura.
Souma's hand slowly crept up, as if he was searching for someone to embrace in his sleep. I softly clasped both my hands around his, and I whispered to him so he didn't wake up. It's all right, I'm here. Surely War had been waiting for us again in Edo, and again he will do everything in his power to protect me. So for now at least, rest your head, my dear.
I promise I'll become stronger. So I can protect you forever.
To be continued. In Edo Blossoms. Hopefully soon. Well, what can I say about Souma? He's not my type, but he was cute. Yeah, I like him already strong. I don't like him building up their strength. But I can imagine he's probably going to be one of the favorites for especially the younger women out there. I'm a little miffed that they didn't tell us what happened with that other vial of the water of life, though. I'm like, is Nomuro going to end up drinking that, or did Miki take it with him? I do imagine that Miki is going to end up being his nemesis, though, so I think Miki will end up being a Fury at some point. Or be something, at some point, in order to up the stakes. In fact, I'm half surprised that they didn't turn Ito into a Fury too. That could have been a really interesting storyline. Fury Ito and Fury Miki being both Soma's nemesis. Oh yeah, and of course, the little epilogue we have here. Couple little sentences. January 1868. The Battle of Topo Fushimi ended with the Satsuma and Choshu victorious. As the shogunate troops retreated, the Shinsengumi headed toward Edo. 4 years ago, I came to Kyoto all by myself in search for my father and met the Shinsengumi. I'm going to leave the city of Kyoto, where I made fond memories with the Shinsengumi. In battle, he became a fury to protect me, and I have chosen to walk alongside him. We are going to head to Edo, without knowing what fate awaits us. Can't even really call that an epilogue. Fin. Again, to be continued. I shouldn't even put Fin, because it is so very clearly to be continued. Now we are going to do tragic love and bad endings. So first of all, we've got to go to Records of Service, down to Chapter 5, find Kazue Souma. Set him on low romance. And forward until we come to the first option. Alright, so for the first choice, we have to say nothing. Souma was bringing up a good point, and I knew he only had the best of intentions. There wouldn't be much for me to do around here if I can't fight in a battle. Although my Kodachi worked for self-defense, what use could it be in a battle? I mean, if I even stepped foot on a battlefield, I may even become a burden. But...
Looks like you got nothing to say.
I, of all people, know how little I have to offer, so I guess me staying here would be a little selfish on my part. I inhaled deeply. And here I'm saving because, to get the bad ending, we're going to come back to this choice after we finish getting the tragic love ending. So, first off, we have to, once again, don't give up. But this time, don't stop him.
Shut up!
Souma swung his sword, and it chopped Miki right in the shoulder. As the sound of flesh splitting and bone cracking came into focus, Miki just laughed maniacally.
That's right, just do it. You're always barking about warrior's honor, but you're no different to me. At the end of the day, you're just a murderer.
Souma swung his sword once again, cutting Miki's final words short. As he turned and realized that the men he'd slaughtered in his wake were former Shinsengumi men, Souma showed no emotional reaction. Oh. Then Souma transformed back to his normal state, bookending his traumatic experience.
Please, don't tell anyone about this. I made things better. Now there's one less person holding a grudge against the Shinsengumi. It's better this way.
Was that truly the case? I had nothing to say, but I had to say something, just as I was about to tell him how I feel. And they had the battle with Kazuma, and we ran away when Yamazaki and Inoue showed up, so now we're in the woods at night by ourselves. Souma and I shared a quiet journey to Osaka Castle, neither of us speaking at all. We felt powerless. Guilt consumed us as we'd abandoned our allies. We were overcome with so many emotions that, by now, we were emotionally drained. Yet we continued our march, in hopes of reaching Osaka Castle safely. Finally... Oh, look, Souma! We'd finally reached the drawbridge, and the view of Osaka Castle made me speak out. At last, we can reunite with everyone. Souma, it seemed, also felt relief. I looked next to me to see him clasp his chest out of happiness.
I'm so glad to see it.
I know. Once we're inside that castle, there will be no one else to chase us.
You can go inside the castle alone, Yukimura.
No! What? As he said that, Souma stopped walking. What's wrong, Souma? We need to hurry and regroup with the Shinsengu.
No. It's time that I left the Shinsengumi.
What? His sudden confession made my stomach sink. Deep down, I was hoping this was some joke, but he looked at me with no humor in his eyes. Why? Why would you?
I made this decision after fighting Miki and Kazuma. They were right. Especially Kazuma. I don't have what it takes to protect you. This, I know, is the truth.
But at the end of it all, you did protect me.
Wrong. I couldn't protect you on my own.
He angrily slammed his fist onto the bridge's handrail, shaking from the rush of guilt. His knuckles had split, causing blood to drip. However, Souma watched as his hand started to heal almost immediately.
I am aware that despite me becoming a fury, I'm still nowhere near as strong as Kodo or Sanin. And it's the truth. Even after obtaining these powers, I stood no chance against Kazuma. If Yamazaki and Inoue hadn't shown up at the last moment, we would have been...
Souma gazed at me with eyes of woe, and he cut himself short as he spoke.
Miss Yukimura, you deserve someone stronger to protect you. Whether that is Commander Hijikata, or Saito, Harada, or Nagakura. Someone other than me.
He gave me no time to respond, and he slowly turned away. Wait! But my words were lost in the wind. I couldn't stop Souma from walking away.
At the end of the day, Commander Hijikata was right. I'm scared. Everyone trusted me, and I made a vow, yet I betrayed them by not being able to protect you. I can't bear to make the same mistake again.
Then stay with the Shinsengumi and train, every day. I couldn't speak. The way he framed his admission made it so there was nothing I could do to change his mind. So while I still had him here with me, I wanted to tell him how I felt. Can we see each other again someday? If you continue down your path as a warrior, then even if this is goodbye, perhaps we can do so with the hope of meeting each other in the future. Even if he were to lie, I would have been satisfied. Because that way, I could let the memory stand with what he said, not what he felt. However, Souma, with his ever-present candor, had something else in mind.
Miss Yukimura, please forget about me. I will continue to fight. If there's nothing to protect, I have nothing to fear. I will cut down my adversaries, all of them.
But if you have nothing to protect them, what are you fighting for?
I will fight somewhere far away from you, and I will die somewhere far away from you. That's all there is to it.
Me no happy about this. Thus was the end of my time with Kazue Souma. Not only had he had his humanity stripped from him, but his sense of purpose as well. He gazed at the path ahead of him, covered in the stains of dried blood, and vanished into the darkness. Who would have thought killing Miki would have that much of an impact on him, to change him that much to leave me there like that? Yeah, I don't know what to say after that ending. Why didn't I run after him and be persistent? I feel like Chizuru would have done that, like been more stubborn about it. I know I definitely would have been. I would have been like, well, I'm just gonna follow you then. I'm not going back without you. Alright, so let's go on to our bad ending here. And for that, we'll go back to that save that I made earlier. And this time, give up. I won't forgive you for this.
What? What's there to forgive?
Miki barraged me with taunts, glaring at me as I snatched the serum from out of his hand. Souma was no longer moving. And I suppose I'm going to die just like he did. Then, if this is it after all, I will never, ever forgive you. I muttered this to myself once more, drinking the whole water of life in one gulp. If I were going to die this way, then I guess dying from the water of life wasn't so bad. You wouldn't die from the water of life. If I became a fury, then at least I could maybe avenge Souma. Ah, I see. Take out a few of them with me. However, I knew the instant the serum kicked in, I would lose my humanity to become a monster. My heart jumped. It was beating unnaturally. My entire body became intensely hot, searing even, and my senses were becoming overwhelmed. The blood flowing through my brain was turning into something that did not belong to me. I'm not sure what'll become of me after all of this, but I'm sure of one thing. The next time I wake, I will no longer be myself. Oh, come on, that can't be the— No, come on! I don't get to see myself go on a killing rampage. Darn this! And I don't even know if Soma woke up or not from that. That was really disappointing. I'm gonna go on to Yamazaki next, so I hope to see you there or in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.